Mr. Chris Demwell, a graduate student in computing science, will lead us in the singing of O Canada.
O Canada, our home and native land, true patriot love in all thy sons command. With glowing hearts we see thee rise, the true north strong and free. From far and wide, O Canada, we stand on guard for thee. God keep our land glorious and free. O Canada, we stand on guard for thee. O Canada, we stand on guard for thee.
Please be seated. I declare the June 2006 Convocation assembled for the granting of decrees. Mr. President, members of the Board of Governors and Senate, faculty, honored guests, graduates, and friends. My name is Brant Louie, and I am the Chancellor of this university. This is our 41st annual Convocation, and we are delighted and honored to have in attendance today a number of distinguished guests on the platform and in the audience, including friends and colleagues of the university, representatives of our fellow educational institutions, the federal and provincial government, and council officials. A special welcome is given to our Chair of the Board of Governors, Dr. Seda Rasool. I am also pleased to welcome our audience from around the world joining us via the internet. Welcome all. This afternoon, an honorary doctorate of letters will be conferred on Maria Tippett. Mr. President, honored guests, graduates, family and friends, faculty and staff. It is my great honor and privilege to welcome you to Simon Fraser University's 2006 Convocation ceremonies. Our 2006 graduation is the culmination of our 40th anniversary celebration that began in September of 2005, marking an important milestone for our university. But today marks an even more important milestone for you, our graduates. Today we come together to usher in an important beginning, a new journey made possible by the commitment of each and every one of you to your studies and to the achievement of your goals. Over the past 40 years, the commitment of SFU to excellence and innovative interdisciplinary and professional programs has been unwavering. Since it's opened on September 9, 1965, with 2,500 students, this university has stayed true to the core philosophy on which it was built, that learning is a lifelong journey, one that is rich with discovery. As you look around you today at your fellow students, your teachers, the faculty and staff, those people who have been on this leg of your journey with you, you will appreciate the diversity of thought, opinion, talent, and ideas to which you have been exposed. In connecting with these thoughts, opinions, and ideas, you have been part of an exchange of learning, a dialogue of education. And just as learning is a lifelong journey, so it is a lifelong exchange of ideas, an ongoing dialogue, where what you've learned and how you've learned it becomes part of the very fabric of this university, part of its collective history and experience. Simon Fraser has long been committed to the value of dialogue within the education it offers and in the ways it experiences learning and growth. Robert Hutchinson, president and later chancellor of the University of Chicago, once said, "Education is a kind of continuing dialogue, and a dialogue assumes different points of view. I truly believe that it is only within this dialogue we find the inspiration to seek out our true potential. You all have plans, you have dreams, ambitions, and goals, and today marks the achievement of some goals and the beginning of a new journey following new plans. As you face the future, you will leverage not only what you have learned, but what you have experienced. With the rate of innovation, invention, and change, who knows what you will encounter? Think about it. 40 years ago, the first graduates of this university celebrated their new beginnings. They too looked towards the future with possibilities they couldn't even begin to imagine. In 1965, the first fuel injection engine for cars was about to be invented. So was the handheld calculator and the barcode. The next decade of the 70s saw personal computers, MRIs, and the rollerblade. And when the 1980s hit, we had Microsoft Windows, digital cell phones, and Prozac. The world changed in the 90s with the World Wide Web and DVDs and the hydrogen fuel cell. Today, we have nanotechnology, virtual reality, and the MP3 digital storage device. And the only thing we know for sure is that there is more to come, and the ability to adapt and learn is vital to success. Where change used to take generations, it now takes moments. And if keeping up is this challenging, then leading the pack will take courage and determination. But I believe that you are up to the exciting challenges and potentials of the next 40 years because you have already demonstrated the values and priorities you will need. In choosing this university, you chose well because you choose the kind of education that adapts with you, one based on the fundamental never stop learning. So congratulations on what you have achieved. We wish you well as you begin the next phase of your journey. You are our future. You are the philosophers and scientists, poets and entrepreneurs that will help shape the next 40 years, well-equipped and with a solid foundation of knowledge. Use it well. In closing, I want to leave you with the words of Leonardo da Vinci. I have been impressed by the urgency of doing. Knowing is not enough, we must apply. Being willing is not enough, we must do. I am confident you are destined to do great things. Thank you very much. I now call on the President of Simon Fraser University, Dr. Michael Stevenson.
Thank you, Mr. Chancellor. Ladies and gentlemen, it's a pleasure to add my warm welcome on this rather miserable afternoon. I hope only that the warmth of the occasion and the SFU standard issue blanket will make up for the weather. But certainly it is a very happy occasion, and I'm delighted that so many friends and family have joined us to celebrate the achievements of those graduating today. As the Chancellor says, today's convocation falls within the 40th anniversary celebrations of this university. Created amidst the political and social turmoil of the 1960s, the ethos of Simon Fraser University has been radically different from that of established institutions. Radical, not in the narrow political sense of being left-wing, but in a commitment to fundamentals, notably to curriculum flexibility and choice for students, and to academic freedom in the wider academic community. A commitment to scholarly excellence through innovation and departure from tradition, and a commitment to openness and inclusion through the elimination of hierarchical divisions between faculty and students and between the university and the external community. In all these respects, SFU's history has been marked by the words of our official statement of values and commitments, a determination to embrace risk and bold initiative. Ladies and gentlemen of the graduating class, I hope you will remember as you now take your leave of SFU the distinctive character of the university at which you've been privileged to study and with which you will now continue to be associated along with 90,000 other alumni of SFU. I hope you will remember and take pride in SFU's commitment to excellence and innovation in scholarship, and that you will remember many of the distinguished faculty with whom you worked, as you no doubt will, in the Faculty of Arts and Social Sciences. For example, the distinguished literary scholars and poets like George Bowering, who while you were at SFU became Canada's first poet laureate, Roy Mickey, who won the Governor General's Award for poetry and a prize for his history of the Japanese redress movement, and Robin Blazer, who last week won a national award for lifetime achievements in poetry. There will be many others, perhaps social scientists like Richard Lipsey, Emeritus Professor in Economics, who this year won the Social Sciences and Humanities Research Council Award for lifetime contributions in scholarship, the gold medal of that society. Perhaps you will remember even more clearly the outstanding achievements of fellow students, like the Olympian gold medalist Daniel Agali, the Trudeau Fellow Amy Mondorf, whose research involves the identification of DNA remains from the victims of disasters like the South Asian tsunami or the terrorist attack of 9/11, or Yang Hong Bing, a student in chemistry who this year won the rare prize for the best thesis in science or engineering, typically for a student at SFU, in a field other than that in which she majored. A chemistry student won the award for the best research in engineering. In addition to remembering with pride the standards of academic excellence which have been established at SFU while you were here, I hope you will also remember some of the bold initiatives undertaken in your time here. The establishment of our new campus at Surrey, and the distinctive new programs there like the School of Interactive Arts and Technology, which will produce research and training for the burgeoning new media and digital entertainment industries of British Columbia and Canada. The establishment of our new Faculty of Health Sciences, committed to programs focused on population and public health, global health, and chronic and infectious disease control. Or the expansion of our downtown Vancouver campus, where we opened last month the new Siegel Graduate School of Business in another brilliantly restored heritage building in the heart of the downtown community. Perhaps you will remember the new venture in international education, the dual degree program in China with our partner Zhejiang University, one of the great universities of China, where Canadian and Chinese students now study together for 5 years, graduating degrees from both institutions and able to move seamlessly between the great economies of Asia and North America. These are merely examples of the ongoing commitment at SFU to inclusion, innovation, and to bold initiatives which redefine the standards of excellence in higher education. However you have experienced this quest for excellence, and however you remember the high points of your time here, I hope you will continue throughout your careers ahead to reaffirm the commitments you have learned at SFU. Question tradition and received wisdom, respect difference and relish diversity, seek excellence in whatever you do by embracing risk and bold initiative, and moderate your personal ambition and desire by a commitment to justice and welfare in your community. Hold fast to these commitments, and I have no doubt that you will enjoy prosperity and fulfillment. And on behalf of all of us at SFU, my best wishes for your future success and happiness. Congratulations to you all.
The honorary degree will now be conferred. Mr. President, will you present the honorary degree candidate, Maria Tippett?
Mr. Chancellor, I am proud to present Dr. Maria Tippett. A student at SFU in earlier times, and now a distinguished author and accomplished cultural historian and critic, Maria Tippett has brought great honor to her country and to Simon Fraser University. Maria Tippett's career is a model of persistence applied to talent, An early graduate of the university, Maria credits her experience at this institution as laying the intellectual foundation of her outstanding success. Here she was inspired to challenge the established canon and to see things anew. And for more than 30 years, she has done just that. As a writer, lecturer, and ambassador of Canadian culture, she has with grace and wit shared her love of learning with university communities and the general public, offering to both her unique perspectives on the immeasurable importance of art and artists in our society. Her body of work is impressive. Its range encompasses books, articles, speeches, catalogues, radio and television pieces. Her erudition and empathy illuminate every one of her subjects, and her frequently piercing insights challenge accepted wisdom. Such works as her study of F.H. Varley and Bill Reed broke new ground and engaged scholars in profound debates about these major artists and their role in our cultural history. And her study of Emily Carr is considered by many to be the finest book on that iconic Canadian artist. A mentor who has generously extended her hand in friendship to many aspiring writers and scholars, Maria Tippett has also acted as an ambassador for Canada and for this university. Through her Canadian Studies seminar at Cambridge, she introduced this country's scholars to their British peers. As a curator at the Cambridge Gallery, she presented Canadian artists to an international public. And at the invitation of the Government of Canada, she has lectured abroad, her eloquence raising the profile of Canada's art and artists. Throughout her illustrious career and to our great benefit, Maria Tippett has stayed true to her vision and injected new vigor into the study of Canada's cultural history. Her unique voice has been recognized with numerous honors, including the Sir John A. Macdonald Prize for Canadian History, the Hubert Evans Nonfiction Prize, and the Governor-General's Award for Nonfiction. Mr. Chancellor, on behalf of the Senate of this university, I ask that you now confer upon Maria Tippett, this distinguished alumna of Simon Fraser University, the degree Doctor of Letters, honoris causa.
Maria Tippett, by the virtue of the authority vested in me and in the Senate of this university, I hereby admit you to the degree of Doctor of Letters, honoris causa. Dr. Tippett will be hooded by Dr. John Waterhouse, Vice President of Academics.
It is with pleasure that I now call on Dr. Maria Tippett for her convocation address. Dr. Tippett.
Chancellor Louis, President Stevenson, distinguished faculty members, honored guests, and my fellow graduands. Today, most of you will be graduating after having spent 4 years, or maybe 3 years, at Simon Fraser. During that time, you may have juggled a part-time or even a full-time job with your studies in order to pay for it, unless you're fortunate enough to have parents who gave you an helping hand. You will have met a lot of new friends, and some of you will have even met your future partner. I think the percentage is quite high. Finally, you have self-evidently taken a sufficient number of courses to have earned yourself a degree. But after today, what will you have for all of your hard work? What will you have received? Well, for those of you who've earned a professional degree like teaching, your career path is really quite clear. But for those who've received a more general degree, your future may not really be so clear-cut. But maybe that's not such a bad thing, because it was part of the original plan. When the BC government asked a man named Gordon Shrum to set up this university 40 years ago, he was determined to create an institution that would give its students a broad and liberal education and not simply train them for a specific profession. And Gordon Shrum did this in several ways, and ways that were really innovative at the time. He ensured that students would be taught in small tutorial seminars as well as in mega lecture theaters. He opened the enrollment not only to fresh-faced high school graduates, but to people who hadn't completed their high school education, to people who were picking up their pension checks. He established a seminar system that enabled students to study all year round. Shrum and his colleagues also hired professors who were young and who came from countries all around the world. Finally, he encouraged extracurricular activities such as art exhibitions, experimental films, fiction, poetry readings, plays, and dance performances. And he gave as much attention to the selection of this place, known in those days as Snake Hill, as to the university architects, Erickson and Massey. When I came up here as a student in 1970, I knew that the place was new because everybody was calling it the Instant University. I also knew that, like Berkeley in California and Sussex in England, SFU had experienced its own share of protests and sit-ins. And finally, I knew that the architects, Arthur Erickson and Jeffrey Massey, had created something special on the campus above the clouds that we now call Burnaby Mountain. Much nicer than Snake Hill. What I didn't know at the time when I came up was the extent to which the university that Gordon Shrum and his colleagues had created in just over 2 years, that's why it was the Instant University, would determine the way that I would really think for the rest of my life. Let me tell you why. When I came here, I had a strong interest in the visual arts. I lived in Europe for a few years, and I was really interested in the fine arts. And yet, I enrolled in the history department. I was encouraged by my history professors, however, in my desire to study art in a course on the German Reich, to make the painters who belonged to the Hudson River School the focus of a course on 19th century American history, and to make the writers and the artists associated with the Russian avant-garde the subject of my honors thesis. All of this within the history department, and all of this representing a wide-ranging approach to my subject that was really novel at the time. But I really have to say that much of my education up here took place outside of the classroom, attending readings by the gay novelist David Watmo and the Russian poet Joseph Brodsky, hearing Murray Schafer's symphony composed for orchestra and for snowmobiles, joining a student demonstration for a cause that now escapes me, smoking my first joint of marijuana, my first and my last joint, I should say, and engaging in lively and informal discussion with my fellow students and professors every Friday evening in the student cafeteria, which we transformed into a pub. You're very lucky now. When I left Simon Fraser in '72, armed with my honors degree in history, I admirably fulfilled Gordon Shrum's intention. I had no specific job qualifications at all. But I had acquired something more valuable than a professional degree. Discussion during my tutorials had taught me to question authority as well as to examine my own beliefs. The careful attention my professors gave to the writing of essays had taught me how to pull the thorns out of my ungrammatical prose and made me into a writer. Studying the fine and performing arts within the discipline of history gave me a new approach, an interdisciplinary approach, which I value to this day. And whenever I've been subsequently curating exhibitions or judging literary prizes or teaching university students or writing books, I've realized the debt that I owe to this place. I might never have turned my passion for the arts into a profession if the writers, the filmmakers, the musicians, and the playwrights I encountered through the Center of Arts here had not set an example, had not shown me that it's possible to become a writer. And if my professors had not given me the confidence to think outside of the strict discipline of historical studies. So in the end, it's not the content of my courses that I remember cramming into my head the night before the examination that has remained with me. It's the way I was taught, the environment of the place where I studied, and the people I met up here that's significant. I know that my time at Simon Fraser made me into a different person, a more fulfilled person, and yes, an employable person too. And my hope is that when you look back on your study here in 30 years' time, you'll feel the same. Good luck, and thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Tippett. Mr. Chancellor, ladies and gentlemen, the members of the graduating class will now be presented to the Chancellor. A Dean's Convocation Medal is awarded the top 2 students in the faculty who have achieved the highest level of academic excellence at the graduate and undergraduate level. And as part of the ceremony, the Alumni Association will present a Simon Fraser University alumni pin to each graduate as he or she leaves the stage. I now invite Ms. Kathy Lewis, the 2005 Outstanding Alumni Award winner for service to the university, to the podium to bring greetings to the graduates. Ms. Lewis?
Thank you. My name is Kathy Lewis, and I'm a proud graduate of Simon Fraser University. On behalf of the Alumni Association, it is my privilege and pleasure to congratulate all of you graduates. Today, as you begin your lives as members of the alumni community, you join over 86,000 SFU graduates worldwide. As you cross the stage, I will be presenting you with an alumni pin. I encourage you to wear it proudly, a symbol of your achievement and your alumni status. Wherever life takes you in the future, we hope you will keep the spirit of SFU alive and well, and that you will stay connected to the alma mater and your fellow alumni. Welcome to the Alumni Association. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Lewis. Just a few requests before we get underway. Would you please refrain from applauding the individual members of the graduating class until each group of degrees has been conferred? This does not obviously forbid spontaneous outbursts of enthusiasm. And as a courtesy to others, will you please remain seated until the conclusion of the ceremony? And finally, would the graduates please return to your seats after receipt of your degrees? The degrees in the Faculty of Arts and Social Sciences will now be conferred. Will the graduates please rise for their presentation to the Chancellor? Mr. Chancellor, I present to you these scholars who have fulfilled the statutory requirements laid down by the Senate of the University, and I request that you confer upon each one the degree for which he or she is now recommended.
By the virtue of the authority vested in me and in the Senate of this university, I hereby admit you to your various and several degrees. Will the graduates please be seated?
Before presenting each graduate individually to the Chancellor, I am pleased to call upon Ms. Julia Howard, a member of the graduating class, to address Convocation. Ms. Howard?
Good afternoon, everyone. Upon reflection of the past 5 years of my life, I've decided that a piece of paper saying that I have a psychology degree in no way accurately reflects the journey that I've had. I'm sure many of you have come to the same conclusion. My path has been a winding one, with ups and downs, forks in the road, and of course, the dreaded dead end. I remember when I was in high school and thinking about how doing 5 years of undergraduate work would feel. Back then, I thought that time would pass me by and I would still be basically the same person, but with increased knowledge in a few areas. Now looking back, I see that this is certainly not the case. When I started my undergraduate degree at SFU, I had just moved from my hometown of St. John's, Newfoundland. I had enrolled at SFU to get a biology degree and to run on the SFU track and cross-country teams. I lived in residence in my first year, and I was 18. Back then, I thought that moving away from home for the first time meant that I had officially grown up. Mind you, it seemed as though I would only attempt to complete assignments once everyone in residence was asleep, and I would consistently eat Kraft mac and cheese and hot dogs for dinner. All the while, I expected to receive the same grades as I did in high school and be able to train and compete at my best. I also recall desperately pleading with one of my chemistry professors to get a midterm deferred because I had arrived to the exam 20 minutes late due to missing my bus. Whether he found this humorous or irritating was unclear, but now I think back in awe at my audacity to have even made the request. You eventually learn that your actions will have direct consequences. The compounded influence of moments like these led to the realization that the next years of my life would be like none I'd ever experienced. My hat goes off to those of you who knew what you wanted to study right from the start and subsequently committed yourselves wholeheartedly to a single discipline. My first 2 years were an agonizing dichotomy of biology versus psychology, combined with a new training regimen that often left me with little brain power to know the difference. My new environment was, to say the least, distracting. However, I gradually got it together and learned what it really meant to be an elite student athlete. I think my progression at SFU athletically mirrored my increased understanding of the commitment and hard work needed to succeed academically. Although at times I was frustrated and felt that my involvement in one area hindered the other, I feel that the outcome of being involved in both was more positive than I could have ever anticipated. Besides receiving an education, I've made lifelong friendships, traveled the world as an SFU student athlete, and understand myself better as a result. My experience at SFU was a flood of knowledge from so many standpoints, and I hope you all agree to the same. I can only hope that the rest of my life progresses similarly. I'm grateful to those professors who are really passionate about what they do and inspire others by their enthusiasm and devotion to their work. I am also grateful, as I'm sure many of you are, to teachers in other forms, my coach, my parents, my colleagues, my teammates. If only somewhere on our degrees would it also say the other accomplishments that have occurred during undergraduate careers. I'm sure you'll all agree that there are some really noteworthy epiphanies that we all wish were included in our degrees that might attempt to tell the story of the past years of our lives here at SFU. Perhaps no longer eats Kraft mac and cheese and hot dogs for dinner would not be included on your list. However, I'm sure such feats as broadened global perspective, deeper understanding of oneself and others, and knowledge of the commitment and drive needed to succeed most likely would be. While attending an institute of higher learning, enlightenment is sometimes found in the strangest places. I'd like to share with you a quote I found on a Starbucks cup the other day from a woman named Anne Morris about the value of commitment. My apologies to those of you who are not fond of Starbucks. Morris said, "The irony of commitment is that it's deeply liberating. In work, in play, in love. The act frees you from the tyranny of your internal critic, from the fear that likes to dress itself up and parade around as rational hesitation. To commit is to remove your head as the barrier to your life." I couldn't agree with this woman more. If any of you are like me, you always want to do it all and do it well. Yet, in a world with so much going on, so many areas to explore, you may find yourself parading around and trying to do it all. Or, as was my case, perhaps not even knowing where to start. Commitment has been a very good friend to me. On the other hand, I do feel that it is important to take a moment to look up from full speed ahead and look at the big picture, to embrace the chaos occasionally and that fear of the unknown. Be afraid of change, but also, equally as important, be afraid to stay the same. But do not fear for long. As astronomer Carl Sagan once said, "We are like butterflies who flutter for a day and think it is forever." So I hope you take this day and those ever after and commit yourself to that which you truly love, but be humble enough to be able to step back and look at yourself amidst this global community. May we follow in the footsteps of previous SFU graduates by using the time we have and the tools we have been given to make a positive impact in our community with compassion and respect for each other. Congratulations to everyone and good luck. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Howard. Mr. Chancellor, the Associate Dean of Graduate Studies, Dr. Trudy Haift, will announce the names of the candidates for graduate degrees.
Mr. Chancellor, the recipient of the Dean of Graduate Studies Convocation Medal in the Faculty of Arts and Social Sciences is Dr. Magdalena Kazubowski-Houston. Dr. Kazubowski-Houston regrets she's not able to attend today's ceremony. Mr. Chancellor, I have the honor of presenting the candidates for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy in the Faculty of Arts and Social Sciences. Dr. Elizabeth Brownlee. Yeah. Dr. James Kinney. Dr. Antonia Kronland. Dr. David Lyon. Dr. Kim Polowek. Dr. Kathleen Slaney. Mr. Chancellor, I have the honor of presenting the candidates for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy under special arrangements in the Faculty of Arts and Social Sciences. The candidates will again be hooded by Dr. John Pierce, Dean of the Faculty of Arts and Social Sciences. Dr. Susan Baxter. Good recovery. Dr. Randall Martin. Dr. Christopher Morrissey. Mr. Chancellor, I have the honor of presenting the candidates for the degree of Master of Arts in the Faculty of Arts and Social Sciences. Heather Cook. Janice Haley. Greenlee Ho. Nikki Hudson. Glenn Landry. Allison Rowley. Jordan Teslak. Sarah Vane. Christina Lorraine Weinzimmerbiel. Rachel Yakimchuk. Wait. He's waiting. You're special. Mr. Chancellor, I have the honor of presenting the candidate for the degree of Master of Arts under special arrangements in the Faculty of Arts and Social Sciences. Mark Jaskula.
Mr. Chancellor, the Dean of the Faculty of Arts and Social Sciences, Dr. John Pierce, will announce the names of the candidates for undergraduate degrees.
Mr. Chancellor, the recipient of the Dean's Convocation Medal for undergraduate studies in the Faculty of Arts and Social Sciences is Diego Barros. Mr. Barros was recognized at this morning's ceremony. Mr. Chancellor, I have the honor of presenting the candidates for the degree of Bachelor of Arts in the Faculty of Arts and Social Sciences. Michelle Abdu. Caitlin Adam. Kayla Adams. Soraya Aguilar Hidalgo. Sean Amdazi. James Alexander. Aniko Afaro. Melanie Alvarez. Pooja Purvi Anand. Alana Anderson. Carolyn Anthony. Faranaz Asin. Priscilla Atachia. Stephanie Moyin Au. Elizabeth Avalar. Parveen Bandon. Sarah Elizabeth Barnes. Lauren Basnett. Saznaz Bekali Ardabelli. Alicia Bell. Karen Asha Bai. Sarah Blaney. Christopher Bobronick. Jeffrey Michael Borgen. Adam Borisek. Mandeep Brar. Kate Brooker. Angela Brownrigg. Michael Brunick. Kimberly Buck. Sean Buckley. Dustin Budden. Catherine Bunce. Michelle Burtnick. Justin Cameron. Fiona Candy. Yolanda Carusi. Danica Cash. Sartvir Shahal. Eileen Chan. Jennifer Chan. Johnson Chan. Justin Chan. Terrence Chan. Stephanie Chan. Ron Chan. Selena Chan. Yuling Chen. Rosanna Cheng. Laura Sherrill. Cassandra Chung. Helena Chung. Chiling Chien. Rajwant Chauhan. Sung Hee Choi. Angela Chong. Phoebe Chow. Kei Chung Chow. Karen Choi. Crystal Clark. Lee Glasby. Angel Clement. James Clemenhaig. Michael Klein. Leah Kaufman. Dorab Kola. Julie Condor. Jua Connolly. Jessica Cooper. Kyle Crawley. Diane Cronk. Laura Dalby. Jeffrey Dare. Megan Davies. Teresa Daw. Mihaila Deka. Harpreet Desange. Alexa Dunbar. Ellis Thick. Jessica Erickson. Amy Jean Erskine. Sandra Fardell. Sarah Flann. Lynn Marie Frechette. Jennifer Freeberg. Andrea Fung. Aman Ganji. Alicia Ganshert. Selena Gatley. Tanya Gatto. Adrian G. Sandra G. Andy Gill. Twyla Gahn. Katie Gondo. Samantha Gonzalez. Richard Greatbanks. Vasila Gregov. Armjeet Gredwal. Pavan Greywal. Chelsea Helgren. Amanda Hardbridge. Scott Harkis. Geneva Hargreaves. Jennifer Harvey. Sarbjot Hayer. Sarah Heath. Nagma Hedayabag. Julia Heinonen. Stephen Hempel. Brenda Santa Maria. Ivy Ho. Mandy Ho. Samantha Ho. Kenneth Hogan. Aaron Holland. Julia Howard. Melissa Howie. Arthur Sue. Yi Tun. Shini Bell Huang. Justin Hall, Chia Hung, Lillian Hung, Elizabeth Hunter, Hyryung Her, Holly Ip, Kathleen Yu, Angelica Yerlich, Jason Jang, Zahira Jasani, Stacy Jordoin, Trevor Jones, Preet Callan, Mandeep Kellyray, Shang Yi Annie Ko, Amy Carroll, Marianne Karimi, Joan Catherine Kent, Zareen Khan, Monica Khanna, Nesa Kahigani, Byung-Chun Kim, Si-Young Kim, Won Kim, Kristen King, Matthew Kitamura, Leo Q, Joanna Kofas, Brenda Kong, Loredana Kosa, Amanda Kumar, Billy Kwan, Ting Ting Kwan, Calvin Kwok, Ivan Lay, Melina Lake, Gilbert Lamb, Jackie Lamb, Elise LaRue, Belle Lachar, Susan Lasavani, Andy Law, Olivia Law, Eileen Lee, Han Lee, Iris Lee, Justin Lee, Kevin Lee, Ruth Lee, Ada Lee, Winnie Lee, Devin LeGraley, Phyllis Lung, David Lung, Brooke Lewis, Betty Lee, Gary Lee, Wenshin Lee, Venerdi Lim, Annie Lynn, Jonathan Lockbaum, Wendy Luke, Daniela Lucarno, Natia McDonald, Jenny Ma, Alexander Markosh, Robin Malcolm, Robina Mangat, Cynthia Martz, Nazanin Marsban, Rochelle Mock, Ian Maurer, Carrie May, Sarah MacArthur, Angus McBlain, Theresa McQuaig, Jessica McCullough, Carly McLean, Paul Metzek, Gregory Michael, Rui Miyagawa, Tad Miyamoto, Monica Mock, Joy Montgomery, Isabella Mori, Christopher Mota, Sarah Mundell, Ryan Andrew Murphy, Elisa Maru, Deborah Masato, Yagana Nassari, Jennifer Nadek, Jessica Nelson, Eva Nemeth, Christy Nguyen, Faith Nguyen, Holly Nguyen, Matthew Nguyen, Wayne Nipshank, Mubina Nirani, Matthew Oliver, Carrie Orris, Jennifer Osler, Vanessa Joy Paxson, Michelle Paisley, Deanna Palmieri, Joseph Pengan, Christine Grace Penty, Alana Parker, Jason Parker, Paris Pettiger, Jasmine Paul, Tanis Payne, Deanna Peluso, Eva Pesanova, Michael Petrochenko, Mark Pele, Anna Placewich, Peter Michael Plett, Jesse Poon, Nashila Premji, Michelle Price, Peter Proctor, Stephanie Quelch, Rowena Rana, Jessica Randawa, Jocelyn Rennie, Nelson Richard, Michelle Emily Richardson, Sarah Robertson, Cheryl Rogers, Curtis Running, Stuart Ross, Kimberly Rossiter, Andrea Rudolph, Jaden Rush, Kimberly Rushton, Sunita Sahota, Joseph Salustros, Jatinder Sandhu, Karanjit Sangha, Donna Sabraggia, Sandra Shecker, Nicole Schmidt, Amanda Scott, Rosalind Serrano, Alaya Shamji, Walter Shali III, Christine Scher, Doris Hugh, Ryan Sigerson, Constable Karen Mary Sims, RCMP, Kristen Sims, Reena Singh, Aaron Sluggett, Bradley Smith, Matthew Smits, Sandy Sue, Rebecca Springer, Susan Stapleton, Shannon Stone, Marina Stupar, Andrea Shabak, Raphael Tachi. Jack Tadman. Sandy Takar. Gigi Wing Chi Tam. Cindy Tang. David Taylor. Simone Tellier. Angela Thompson. Kevin Tiley. Masha Trechuk. Igor Tomek. Tuli Tran. Dara Trescott. Emmy Shang. Julie Chang. Haley Chu. Karen Tung. Sabrina Vaghila. Shivali Verma. Katie Vinson. Christine Vizhnek. Nicole Von Koris. Selena Wang. Danielle Warren. Haley Watson. Jeanette Weber. Matthew Weber. George Whitehead. Michael Whitehead. Haley Williams. Arthur Vladika. Natasha Wodek. Chowki Phoebe Wong. Janet Wong. Ryan Wong. Victoria Wong. Wallace Wei Yan Wong. Bihira Wu. Amy Wu. Glenn Yamakawa. Janet Yan. Philip Yi. Philip Yi. Yi Chun Ye. Min Ying. Melinda Young. Mimi Young. Iray Yu. Angie Ewan. Cajon Ewan. Courtney Zelle. Agnes Zarameska. Arenzo Zarabian.
Will the graduating class please rise? I congratulate each of you on the completion of your degree, which is an impressive achievement, and I ask your friends and family to join me in applauding the graduating class of June 2006. And now I invite you, the members of the graduating class, to reciprocate by applauding your family and friends, faculty and staff, all who have helped you achieve this goal. Thank you. Please be seated.
Ladies and gentlemen, this completes the formal awarding of degrees. Some candidates recommended by the Senate for degrees today are unable to be present, and their names have therefore not been read out. I now admit them to the appropriate degrees as shown on the program. I have several thank yous to express. First of all, to all of you for joining us on this December day. To the many volunteer staff and faculty members coordinated by the Student Services and Ceremonies and Events Office who worked smoothly to run a very smooth and enjoyable Convocation Day. And to the members of our four-time world champion Simon Fraser University Pipe Band for their special contribution to Convocation. I've been told that they will perform after the ceremony in the square behind the platform. This brings a close to the formal part of the afternoon's Convocation, and you're all invited to attend a reception to be held in the James Douglas Room behind the platform to your right following the ceremonies, and we'll be serving very hot coffee and hand warmers. Please rise and remain standing at your places until the platform has recessed. Thank you.
They'd be mad if they do.